Hi everybody, this is Chess from Retro Nirvana Gaming. Welcome. Today we are ranking all the Nintendo consoles from worst, number 8, all the way to best, number 1. This is, again, just my opinion. We're going to take a look at what I think. I've been collecting games for over 15 years, and now this is my opinion based off of all the consoles I have, everything I have. So, before we get started, don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below, help the channel grow, and you'll see more of our videos. Alright, here we go. So, first off, the worst. We're going to start from the worst and work our way up on the list. So, the worst console is going to be the Virtual Boy. It was a complete and utter failure from Nintendo. It's red scale. I will show you what it looks like right now. Okay, so this is the Virtual Boy right here. This is what it looks like. It only came with 13 games total for the whole system in North America. It is a console that is supposed to be portable. It is not portable. You have to play it using a stand. It is black and red. It gives a lot of people headaches and migraines, and you really can't play it for very long. I can play it for as long as I want to, but I know most people don't like this console. It's obscure. It stopped production very quickly because it was pretty much a commercial failure. It is actually Nintendo's biggest failure. Therefore, it is now ranked the lowest. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 consoles, main consoles in Nintendo's history. And the Virtual Boy is going to be dead last. So that is number 8 is the Virtual Boy. Awful. Just never play it. It only has I have 2 games for it. I have Mario Clash and I have Mario Tennis. I do want Wario World, and there's a lot of other obscure titles for it, but overall it is a terrible system. You can get the whole collection pretty easily. It's only 13 games. Other than that, it's pretty easy to get the rest of the games in the collection. Okay, next, in my opinion, is the Wii. The Wii is the second worst console for me. Why is it? I love the Wii, don't get me wrong. I have tons of games for the Wii, hundreds of games, and lots. I have every single console for it. What I don't like about it is the motion controls and the awkward controller. I am very much one of those people that does not like gimmicks when it comes to Nintendo games. I don't like motion controls. I don't like gimmicks. I like good controls, like such as on the Super Nintendo. The Nintendo has a good controller. N64, GameCube, phenomenal controller. Switch, perfect controller. So those kind of controllers are a must for me. Therefore, the Wii is second on the list for me from the bottom. Okay, so it's basically 7th. I do like the library of games. There are too many games with motion controls in general on there. There's a lot of shovelware. There is a metric ton of games, and a lot of them were not really considered hardcore games. So the first party support, not the strongest on the Wii, unfortunately. There are a lot of good games on there. First party games, Pikmin, Wii Sports. Again, there's a lot of really good games on there, but not enough to make it really worth my while. And so, motion controls, the awkward factor on the Wii. Other than that, I do love the fact that it is GameCube compatible and 4 players out of the box. So you can basically, or you can play with a whole bunch of people right out of the box on the Wii. So for me, it's only gonna be number 7 on the list. Not the best. Okay, next. We have the NES. I know, shocking to most people that I think the NES is actually the 6th best Nintendo console. It's crazy. So the NES is a fantastic console. As you can see, I have lots of games for it. Some of them in the box. My reason for this is because the NES was before my time. I came to this country from Italy in 1991. That was really right at the end of the NES generation. Yes, I played it a lot with friends. Yes, over the years, I got used to the library. Yes, there was Super Nintendo as soon as I got here. That was my first console, my first Nintendo console I ever experienced. Yes, a lot of my friends did have NESs, and I did play them at their house, and I enjoyed it. But it was a little bit before my time. Do I enjoy playing it right now? Yes, I do. The other thing about the NES is, of course, that really turns me off is, of course, the loading, the side loading on the original NES. So, of course, that is kind of annoying. Having difficulty, even after cleaning the cartridge several times, you still have issues booting games. So to me, that's a turnoff. In 2025, that's a turnoff. Nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to have to deal with that on an original console. The pin connectors, always a nightmare to deal with. The lockout chip, always a pain to deal with. And so the NES for me is basically number 6 on the list. I love the library. You know, I own all the classics pretty much. I love Zelda, I love Tetris, I love Mario games. There's, you know, Mega Man started on that console, so of course I love it. There's nothing wrong with the NES. I love it. It's just, out of all these ranking systems, this one sits for me at number 6. Okay, so next, moving on, is the Wii U. So Wii U, great console. Both my wife and I got one not at launch, but slightly off of launch, and we love it. So it is number 5 on the list for us. We love it, but there's not enough content, unfortunately, on there. The other thing about the Wii U is it was kind of when Nintendo was on their at their low point. So it was right after the Wii. The Wii did very well. The Wii U, we were the ones who adopted it. There's a lot of people who abandoned Nintendo, and they were like, no, I'm gonna have these other consoles instead, the Xbox One, and all these other consoles, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 3, all that. The Wii U is a phenomenal console. You have some great Zelda games, you have great Mario games. They tried as hard as they could, but again, this was a growing console where they were kind of in growing pains at this point. The other thing about this that kind of turns me off, its legacy has been tarnished by the Switch, because they took all those awesome games that were on the Switch and that were on the Wii U, and they ported them to the Switch. So there is really nothing left on the poor Wii U, unfortunately. There's so much stuff that was on the Wii U originally and now has been ported to the Switch that there's almost nothing left to enjoy just purely on the Wii U anymore. I think there's like a handful of games left. Even with Xenoblade Chronicles X, that was one of the last games to be ported from the Wii U to the Switch. Now, really, there's only Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, which you can actually play on other consoles. You can play Twilight Princess on the GameCube or the Wii, and Wind Waker you can play on the GameCube, and on, of course, the Wii U. But in general, almost everything's been cannibalized and brought over to the Switch. Therefore, unfortunately, the Wii U is right in the middle of the pack. It's number 5 for me. Okay. Next, the N64 is number 4 for me. I love the N64. If you don't know, I love it. I have a whole bunch of fantastic consoles. I have the Pikachu one, I have the Gold Edition, I have the Jungle Green, the Ice Blue, the Grape, and the Watermelon. The N64 is one of my favorite consoles of all time. As you can tell, I have tons of awesome games up here. I've spent thousands of dollars getting these games in the box. I love the N64. There's just a couple things that I don't like about it. The controller can be a little cumbersome sometimes. I'm used to it. I know that a lot of people go and they look at the N64 and the first thing they think about in terms of the reputation of the N64 is the controller. So they're like, the controller could have been better, the controller could have been more streamlined, it didn't have to be 3 handles, they could have made it 2 handles. kind of like this Retro Fighters controller right here. So this one should have been the way the N64 should have been designed. So it should have been designed with one control stick, which is fine, and then like this with two handles. And that, I think, would have been more of a better way of designing the controller. N64, unfortunately, the graphics have not really held up over the years. Certain games really didn't hold up very well. I mean, Zelda is great, Mario 64 fantastic, but there's a lot of other games on the console that unfortunately did not do too well in terms of like the way it looks. Nowadays, N64 is very hard to emulate. It's hard to get it to show properly on YouTube and all that stuff like that. So I think the N64, unfortunately, is going to take number 4 for me on the list of best consoles for Nintendo. So next, number 3 is the good old GameCube. So the GameCube, of course, is one of my favorites. So now we're starting to work on the ones I really, really enjoy very, very much. Of course, I love the N64. The GameCube, I've had much more appreciation for lately. It's not a console that I started off absolutely loving. I got it at a little bit off after launch. I got a jet black one back in the day. I started off my collection with Wind Waker, Mario Sunshine, and the original Resident Evil. Those are the 3 games I pretty much had for, I want to say 5-6 years, and I never added anything else to the collection. Back in the day, I really didn't appreciate the way other people do. You know, we had the PlayStation 2, we had the Dreamcast. I liked those consoles a little bit better at the time. Now, I absolutely love the GameCube. They have such great games. Games like Mario Kart Double Dash, Mario Sunshine, Luigi's Mansion. As you can see, I have a huge GameCube collection, all the Zeldas. It is one of the best consoles, for me at least. Not just to collect for, but also just to play. It's just so much fun. All the games are just fantastic. The controller is fantastic. They have great peripherals, like the Wavebird controller is phenomenal. It is one of the absolute best controllers you could have. They have the screen, they have the Game Boy player. I love the GameCube. I think it's phenomenal. It's a tiny little console, but it packs a punch. It is phenomenal. So GameCube is 3 for me. Alright, number 2 is the Nintendo Switch. Yeah, we're getting all the way to the top here. Switch, I've had since launch day 2017. I actually had to wait 3 days because Amazon didn't send me my Switch right away, but basically I ordered it. I was supposed to be here at launch. I ended up having to wait 3 days to get it, or 2 or 3 days to get it. And then finally I played my Breath of the Wild with it. Ever since that, I've collected everything I can for the Switch, and I think we're at about 560 games for the Switch. It is a juggernaut console. I absolutely love it. We have tons of Pro controllers. We have tons of games. We have lots of games with peripherals like Ring Fit and Switch Sports and a whole bunch of other ones. I love the Switch. We have several consoles. I absolutely love the console. I am super happy to have already pre-ordered the Switch 2, and I love everything about the Switch. I think it's phenomenal how you can play it in 3 different modes, so that is definitely innovative. You can play it in tabletop mode, you can play it in handheld mode, and you can play it with the dock in the higher resolution. It is, to me, the best modern console for Nintendo, of course. Beating out the Wii U and beating out the Wii as well. Love it. I think they were very smart to do it this way, and yeah. So Switch is number 2, and as you can guess by now, you can guess what is the top console for me, and that is the Super Nintendo. I love the Super Nintendo very, very much. It is always going to have a place in my heart. This one is the Super Nintendo Junior. I love the Super Nintendo. There are so many great games for it. in my collection. Everything from Zelda to Metroid to Contra to Sunset Riders, Mega Man series, and then tons of awesome RPGs. That is why it is my favorite console. It is the most classic out of all of them. The controller is phenomenal. I'll show you real quick the one I use. I use a wireless Super Nintendo controller. It is super ergonomic and super comfortable and uses very little battery life. On top of that, I love the games. They're all classic. The music is fantastic. The graphics are timeless. You can play these games 20 years from now and you'll still love them. They still hold up to this day. The music, the graphics, I love the way they set up the cartridges on there. And because it is a top loader, there is a much better chance that when you clean the cartridge and put it in, it will work 20 years from now. So Super Nintendo, you're always going to be my favorite console of all time. Let me know what you guys think of this list. So we had Super Nintendo at the top, Switch was second, GameCube, Nintendo 64, Wii U, NES, Wii, and Virtual Boy was last. What do you guys think about my list? Again, this is my list. Let me know in the comments which console is your favorite, or what does your list look like from the bottom to the top. As always, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below, and I thank you for watching. See you guys next time. Bye.